Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good morning, friends.
Good morning, friends. How is everybody doing out there in sterile 6 feet land? Because we're in lockdown. Lockdown.
Depends where you are.
They can't hold us down, but they can lock us up.
That depends where you are. Not everybody listening is going to be here.
Man, that's true. In Ontario, Canada. Guess what day it is today?
Today's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, what happens on Wednesday?
April the 14th.
Just kidding. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I'm so old.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. And I already got a birthday present. Can I share what it is? No, it's a squatty potty. Because we were watching the Shark Tank, and the people that invented the squatty potty, and like the whole reality is like, what did they say? Like 3/4 of the world goes to the bathroom squatting.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up. I grew up in Indonesia. That's all you did. It was just a toilet that you
a hole in the
ground that you squatted on. We moved up in the toilet world the longer that we were there, but we started with literally the hole in the ground and the foot marks on the side.
I'm familiar.
You went to China and the same thing. And the funny thing is that we went to this pool, and it was an expatriate pool. Like, it was an open pool, but it was a lot of white people. But the Indonesians would come as well. And when you go in the bathrooms, there's always there's mud on all of the seats because they squat on the seat. Oh, I thought that was clever. I've never tried it myself, but yeah, he used a squatty potty today. Congratulations on a great gift. You must have been bursting at the seams to give me that gift.
I knew you'd either really like it or hate
it. You know who's gonna hate it?
Jordan.
I can't wait till he sees the squatty potty.
He's gonna hate it.
The one thing it made me feel a little bit.
I don't think we need to go into great detail.
No. You know when I bought my vitamins from Costco.
And you bought senior vitamins by accident.
Accident.
So you feel old.
So it does look like when it scooted into the bowl, it does look a little bit. Is the right word geriatrics, or is that super rude?
I don't think it's rude.
I don't think. Okay, so it looks a little bit geriatric.
Do you know what's super rude is a woman who is like, I think depends on where you live, but like 38 years old, 39, 40, depending where you are. If they get pregnant, they call it a geriatric pregnancy. Nice. I don't know. It's your phone.
What's my phone? I'll have to decline it.
All right. So should we do our reading?
What were we talking about?
A woman who's pregnant. They call it a geriatric pregnancy if she's a certain age.
That doesn't seem that old anymore to have a baby. Like 38 is not even that old.
I think it's 38 in Ontario. Some provinces it would be 40.
So I think the next purchase to get for our shower is one of those plastic chairs with the adjustable legs so we can actually sit in the shower because, standing. You
feel like you need to sit in the shower?
Yeah. It'd be nice.
All right.
I'm not making fun of old people whatsoever.
Making fun of yourself.
Making fun of myself.
Perfectionism. Recovery from codependency is an individual process that necessitates making mistakes, struggling through problems, and facing tough issues. Expecting ourselves to be perfect slows this process. It puts us in a guilty and anxious state. Expecting others to be perfect is equally destructive. It makes others feel ashamed and may interfere with their growth. People are human and vulnerable, and that is wonderful. We can accept and cherish that idea. Expecting others to be perfect puts us in that codependent state of moral superiority. Expecting ourselves to be perfect makes us feel rigid and inferior. We can let go of both ideas. We do not need to go to the other extreme, tolerating anything people throw our way. We can still expect appropriate, responsible behavior from ourselves. But most of us can afford to loosen up a little bit. And when we stop expecting others to be perfect, we may discover that they're doing much better than we thought. When we stop expecting ourselves to be perfect, we'll discover the beauty in ourselves. Today, I will practice tolerance, acceptance, and love of others as they are and myself as I am. I will strive for that balance between expecting too much and expecting too little from others and myself.
That's a good one for today. I think that perfectionism runs deep in the addict where I know in my past that I've if I couldn't do things perfectly, I just wouldn't do them. So it just eliminates so many healthy things for me to do in my addiction, so that basically it's driving me back to drinking.
Right.
And the ideal, and I get it in the codependent, where it's like you have this standard and expectations and rigidness and everything, you're striving to be at a certain level all the time that's usually unattainable.
Right.
And it creates the adrenaline inside, and so you're always trying to strive and reach and prove and do these things perfectly. When I was in treatment in 2005, I remember that we were doing whatever course, and the counselor said, "Can you do anything perfectly?" And so we're a bunch of trying to get sober alcoholics and crackheads, and we're like, "No, there's nothing you can do perfectly." And like he just simply said, "You guys all got into this room. You did that perfectly." And like he goes, "You're all breathing." And I'm like, it kind of blew out the door of what this expectation of perfect is. It kind of like disassembled perfectionism. It just means that I can do things at a good level, and I don't have to strive and make it unattainable.
I would have referred to myself as a frustrated perfectionist because I didn't actually think perfection was possible. I didn't even have a clue that that's what I was like striving for, aiming for, or frustrated about. But then like once I started to kind of unpack my behaviors and unpack what was happening with me a little more, I started to look at some of my like patterns of behavior and realize like, oh, wow, that's frustration, and I'd hear other people talk about being a perfectionist, and I'd think I'm just a frustrated perfectionist.
Yeah, it gives us the ability to do that non-stick-to-itness. So if I can't do it properly, I'll just quit. Yeah. And so you don't get into self-care, or you get out of self-care, and you get out of like the little things that really matter to build your spirituality. And I like that we actually read about spiritual principles. And so there's a spiritual principle about feeling morally superior, and then rigid and having expectations, rigid and inferior. So those are actually principles. Those are rules. And so in recovery, we're actually going to dismantle all of those beliefs and principles and live by new principles. And the top three that I've found in recovery in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and in the Bible, one of them is love and tolerance is our code. We don't have to tell everybody about how great we're doing. We live it. And then, am I being a maximum service to God? And those are like spiritual principles that I'm actually trading for these ones. And so I think it's a great read of perfectionism today. So how do we go through our day and meditate on perfectionism? I guess we invite the Spirit of God to show us and illuminate where we're being trying to be perfect, or have expectations, or being too rigid, or having a moral superiority. So, Father, would you show us where those things are in our life today? Amen. Have a great and blessed day. If anybody wants to drop cards off, presents, food, I'm open for that. So I'm just kidding. Have a great afternoon.
No, you're not.
No,
you would love that. That would be like your favorite thing.
If everybody came and dropped presents off on the front porch,
that would be your favorite thing. That would be cool. You love presents. It's okay.
I like a good present.
You like a good present. It doesn't have to be an expensive present. It doesn't have to be. It can just you love a gift.
When it comes to the love languages,
thing you love the most.
No, I think it.
Do you think it could be?
No, because if you did active service, so like clean or cook, it's like...
So pause. There's a thing online, you can Google it, and it's called the 5 Love Languages. And there's a test you can take online. And someone was just telling me about this, that actually they were doing a socially distanced visit with their kids and their grandkids around like a bonfire or something. And they got talking about this because someone had I think the daughter-in-law had just done the quiz. And so they got talking about it, and they all took the quiz, and they all had this great conversation about how each of them like responds in life to these, different love languages. And then there's a kids quiz. And so they did the quiz for the kids. And then the grandma was saying like, this is totally going to help me be a better grandma because now I know.
Now you get see where they're, oh, that's cool. So you can do a quiz and know your
Yeah,
love language.
and know your love languages.
I think mine's a gift. I enjoy
It's
it. Like
not your only
when
one.
I saw the squatty potty, I was like,
Yeah.
that was super thoughtful. But maybe the gift is being thought of. I don't know.
I think that is,
All
those
right,
are good points.
guys, go through it this day and understand that it's about progress and not perfection, because perfection, whose idea of perfection is this? And so
Right.
you have this expectation and standard, and the reality is this life is to have progress and have a
Right.
spiritual connection with God and to be free. And so join us today at noon. We have our All Addictions open meeting. So if you're investigating addiction, have an addict, are an addict, come and hang out noon Eastern on Zoom.
On our Zoom room.
Yeah, on our Zoom room. We will see you at noon or later today or tomorrow. Bye. Have a great afternoon. Wash your hands and keep the peace and be of good behavior.